What this means is you're seeing kind of what I think to be the ingredients for a formula to help get Tennessee back to the place where you expect them to be. We have legitimate expectations for the Vols in 2022. True or false?
Yeah, I mean, legitimate expectations to take a step forward.
I think they can push Kentucky. I think Florida's down bad, even if they may end up surprising a team here or there. I think that certainly, as we discussed last week, that this needs to be the year that Tennessee beats Florida in ways that are meaningful. South Carolina, a wild card. Florida's probably that too. But what else is threatening the East below Georgia?
I don't think it's a bold prediction to say I think they can push Kentucky. I think.
But that's expectations.
Yeah, that's expectation. Yes. Yeah. That should be the expectation. For Tennessee fans, it should be to finish second in the East.
See, why you... I love it. You got Vol PTSD. You're trying to couch even the word expectations. I'm trying to give them to you. I'm saying, buddy, I'm excited about your football team. You're doing what I do for Indiana basketball. You're miserable in real time.
Well, no, I see what you're saying. But when you say, I think Tennessee can push Kentucky, I think it makes it sound a little more far-reaching than it is. Saying I think Tennessee will, or they should.
Not head-to-head, but in the East.
No, I think absolutely. The expectation, the demand from Tennessee fans should be to finish second in the East. No worse, because you look at what's happening at Florida. You feel like you are still ahead of the curve from South Carolina, given how last year played out and in the head-to-head. Yeah, a Tennessee fan looks around at the schedule, says there is no reason why you should finish any lower than second in the East this year.
Well, I mean, there are. Like, to push Kentucky is no small feat. Kentucky football is not a laughingstock.
No, they're not.
Kentucky football, if Will Levis has a successful season, he will be in the conversation for not just a first-round pick at quarterback, but for the number one overall selection. Because he's got all the things, theoretically, that Bryce Young does, except he's bigger. Bryce Young is 5'11", and like, I don't know, maybe 170 pounds. This is not, and Will Levis is built like a quarterback in the NFL that would project durability. It's not an end-all, be-all, right? Devontae Smith is probably the best example of this. How many hours did people spend talking about Devontae Smith's weight? And he looks like a completely competent to above-average professional wide receiver for the Eagles. So to push Kentucky is not some kind of, it's not just kind of like, because you own Kentucky head-to-head. But now we're talking about, okay, they've got assets. You do too. Now let's see how far you can push this thing. Because they have their own vulnerabilities. Tennessee has vulnerabilities, right? The defense is still a concern. The secondary is still a massive concern. And without above average talent up front to disrupt the quarterback, Titans fans will tell you, secondary isn't going to hold up for much longer beyond that. But what Kentucky is looking at is, they got Levis back, but Wan'Dale Robinson, a second-round pick of the Giants, he's out. They had 3 offensive linemen go pro. Now they've done well as far as recruiting in the trenches. What do they call it, the blue wall?
Yeah, and they've added some running backs as well. They've got a really good stable of running backs up there.
So they're probably more, at least on the offensive side of the football, they're more in flux than Tennessee is, right? You return less, even if your talent at the most important position may be better. And Will Levis, make no mistake, Will Levis is a more talented pro prospect than Hendon Hooker is. But Hendon Hooker just has to be a more successful college quarterback, which he is thoroughly capable of doing in an offense like Tennessee's.
And remember, a change in offensive coordinator as well, something Kentucky is working through that Tennessee is not.
For Kentucky. So they had Liam Cohen, who I think played at Kentucky, was a member of the Rams staff, came to Kentucky, now went on to go rejoin the Rams as their offensive coordinator. They're also Rick Scangarello, who's been in the league for, forever.
Rich Scangarello.
Is it Rich? Forgive me.
From who was in San Francisco.
He was there, no, not OC, but he was working under Mike McDaniel last year. Anyway, quarterback for a pro-style prospect, there's no question that Will Levis is superior. He's getting pro coaching, like now. But again, I say to you, Hendon Hooker just simply has to be the more successful college quarterback, which we have seen time and time again.